Manchester United taking on Norwich. Must-win game for Manchester United this weekend. There can be no excuses if Manchester United don't claim the 3 points. With Norwich being down the foot of the table and in all sorts of problems and looking like they're going to get relegated this season. They've been in pretty poor form this season, and if Manchester United can't claim 3 points in this game, it will really hit Manchester United's top 4 hopes really badly. And that is the bare minimum this team should be getting out of the season. It really is, to be honest. It will be an absolute disgrace if Manchester United don't even if we scrape in the top 4, it's still a disgraceful season, because most Manchester United fans were expecting a lot better out of this season. I certainly was. And with these games coming up, these are 2 games against Norwich and against Brentford that are winnable games for Manchester United. We could put some points on the board and try and steer back as quick as possible into that top 4. But if we don't get the victory in this, it really will be a real problem for Manchester United. Now, I don't take too much into the game against Young Boys in the week. Yes, we do need to score some more goals under Ralph Rangnick than we have done in our first 2 games for sure. But I don't really read too much into that one, because that was a complete changed team. And you saw a second half, I mean, Jesus Christ, towards the end of that game we had mainly academy players on the pitch. So it wasn't really like Manchester United were going out to try and win. And the mentality of that, I mean, obviously for some of them players, they should be trying to stake a claim in the team, but the mentality was a bit different for that game. Because we had won the group, it was more about individual performances, which I don't really see we stood out than the actual result in that game anyway. But going into this one, the result is the only thing that really matters, because yes, we do need to put in a good performance, but if we put in a good performance and we fucking lose, then we've got nowhere to hide, because we're going to fall further behind the likes of Spurs, who have going to have a lot of games in hand, and West Ham's, and Arsenal will overtake us again. So must win game. Now, I reckon a lot of change is going to happen in this game for Manchester United. I don't reckon any of them players that played in that game against Young Boys are going to start this game. Now, that's not necessarily a complete disrespect to the players that played and the fact that they played shit or anything. I just think that he will rotate again. We've got a game in midweek again, so I think he wants to utilise the squad at this moment in time, and he gave some players a chance, and no one really stood out like a sore thumb in that one that they desperately should be starting this game at this moment in time. I think the only real one in that lineup that could say he's in with a shout of starting would be Mason Greenwood, but overall lately he has been in poor form. So yes, that's done him the world of good, but I don't think that one goal is probably taking him ahead of Rashford in Ralph Rangnick's mind just yet. But if Greenwood is to come off the bench or play well if given the opportunity, or in the game against Brentford, if he was to put in another good score another good goal like that or anything like that, then I think it would put it into Ralph's mind that maybe he should be starting ahead of maybe Rashford, because Rashford's been in poor form himself. So it is close there to which one starts now. It's not really a given that Rashford starts week in, week out now for Manchester United with the form that he is in, but he's got to improve. This is the perfect sort of game for Rashford to improve and to maybe put himself on the score sheet. It's against the bottom of the table team. They lost 3-0 last time out against Spurs, so they're not in, I mean, they are what they are, bottom of the league, so they've been in poor form all season. So I reckon David Hale will obviously come back in goal. Then I reckon he's going to go for Telles, Delot. Then he's going to go for Lindelof and Maguire as the centre-backs. It will be Fred and McTominay in midfield. Then further forward, I reckon it's going to be Sancho, Bruno Fernandes and Rashford and Cristiano Ronaldo. I think it will be something similar to that. To be honest, I think this team's easier to pick than the one against Young Boys, because I didn't have a fucking clue who's going to start in that game. I was actually surprised that Ahmad started that game, considering he hasn't played any football this season, and he probably hasn't done himself any real favours to get on the substitutes bench. And I don't think really Elanga's done enough to get on the substitutes bench for this one, because there is rumours that Cavani could be back on the bench for this one. So I think them two will come out. I don't think they're going to play in this one. I don't think there's any under-23 game this weekend, so they'll get a weekend off probably to recuperate, and maybe they're needed against Brentford. If we get a couple of injuries, they could well be needed. But I think it will be a completely different team. Now, Norwich have been in poor form, but Pukki is their main threat up front. I think Manchester United are probably going to have to utilise the wide areas, try and get Sancho to come out wide. If we're playing the 2-2-2 in that formation, then really Bruno Fernandes and Sancho are going to have to try and drift out wide. Maybe Rashford will drift out wide as well a bit to create that space, because it might be a bit congested in that middle from Norwich, so we may have to try and utilise the wide areas to get to great effect. And that's what I thought, that we haven't seen enough maybe of that of Sancho, and I thought that he would be great for Cristiano Ronaldo with the way he's been assisting in Germany, but we haven't really seen that enough of that yet. But hopefully we will see more of that in the coming games, and hopefully his form's going to continue. But I really do think we're going to need to get it out a bit wide. Maybe Rashford will go out wide a little bit, but he said he wants to get up front too. So maybe Ronaldo and Rashford can work well together. But really, Rashford's not really an out-and-out centre forward, is he? He likes to come out wide at times, but really we don't. Besides really Ronaldo and Cavani, we don't really have that other centre forward, real lethal centre forward in there. And I thought when Cristiano Ronaldo and Cavani did play together before, they played quite well actually. That was that game against Spurs, so maybe that's an option that he will play in the future. But obviously Cavani will be starting this game on the substitutes bench. Surely Manchester United can dominate this game like we did. We controlled the game against Crystal Palace mainly. We did get that one chance away in the second half, which Palace should have been 1-0 up in. But besides that, Manchester United did pretty much control that game. And I'm hopeful that Manchester United can do the same again in this game. Control it, keep possession, hopefully another clean sheet for Manchester United, because that is massive for Manchester United. Still no Rafael Varane back for Manchester United, which is a bit of a blow. Would have liked to have seen him back. I think he's going to be another week or so away from first team action for Manchester United, which is a bit annoying, because we haven't seen enough of him. And when Manchester United's stats when he was playing before under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was so much better defensively when he was in the team, and he's miles ahead of Maguire and Lindelof in the back four. He's the best defender Manchester United got for sure, and he will make Manchester United a lot better. I'll feel a lot more comfortable when he's in defence as well again. So when we get Cavani and Rafael Varane back, that will make a massive difference to Manchester United. But it will remain to be seen how he actually sets up when Cavani's back, because obviously you're going to have Greenwood there as well vying for a place, and there's going to be probably the likes of Martial and Lingard are going to be surplus to requirements, because there's reports they want to leave, and that's very good. That is for Manchester United what we should be doing now, getting them out, because the options, he's got a lot of options for Manchester United. And if Ahmad and Elanga are going to get more game time under Ralph Rangnick, then probably Martial and Lingard's time is to move on for Manchester United, because they're not really going to get the game time when you're probably going to have, well, when we are going to have probably tomorrow Greenwood and Cavani sitting on the substitutes bench, with both of them not getting first team places in the team at the moment. Then Lingard and Martial are really far down the pecking order, and it's better to give the younger players a bit of a chance now, because when else are you going to give them a chance, to be honest? Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below on this game. I'm going to go for Manchester United winning this game 2-0. It might take us a while to break down, because I've seen Manchester United, I think, are the only team to not score, is it, in the first, well, we haven't scored in the first 15 20 minutes of a game this season, which is crazy. Hopefully Manchester United can get an early goal. We did get one against Young Boys, so hopefully we can do that again and then control this game and get victory. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if you enjoyed it, hit the share button if you're watching this on Facebook, and I'll talk to you all again soon. See ya.